The morning arrives softly, not as an ending, but as a hesitation. Light stretches across the surface of the earth, touching mountains, oceans, and cities with the same quiet patience. Snow falls without urgency. Each flake unaware it carries the weight of finality. The world exhales slowly, as if deciding whether to continue. This is the last day. As the sun rises, it reveals a planet in suspension. Major cities across the globe remain silent. Streets once filled with movement are now covered in fresh snowfall, absorbing sound and erasing direction. Highways extend uninterrupted, frozen in place, no longer serving their original purpose. Urban skylines stand intact, but unoccupied. Skyscrapers, office towers, and residential blocks show no signs of activity. Windows remain dark. Communication networks appear inactive. Airports are fully immobilized, their runways buried beneath layers of ice, aircraft grounded permanently. Coastal regions experience an unusual stillness. Large sections of the ocean show surface freezing, with waves halted at the shoreline. Harbors are locked in ice, and commercial shipping has ceased entirely. No emergency signals are transmitted. No response follows. Rural settlements are equally affected. Villages in mountainous and low-lying regions are covered in snow. Structural collapse is visible in older buildings, likely due to sustained cold and accumulation. Agricultural land lies dormant, crops abandoned beneath frozen soil. Transportation infrastructure shows complete failure. Train stations remain empty. Rail lines are blocked. Road networks in alpine and polar regions have disappeared under continuous snowfall. Vehicles are present but non-operational, preserved where they stopped. Natural systems continue without interruption. Rivers have frozen solid, suspending flow. Waterfalls remain locked mid-descent. Forests stand intact, their ecosystems slowed but not destroyed. Wildlife presence is minimal and largely unobservable. Energy production has halted. Wind turbines rotate slowly due to residual wind patterns, but no power is being transmitted. Solar installations reflect low-angle sunlight without measurable output. Power lines sag under ice accumulation. Borders and geopolitical divisions are no longer distinguishable. Snow cover has removed all visible markers. Urban canals and waterways reflect empty skylines. Fog moves through streets, driven only by atmospheric pressure. Public spaces show signs of abandonment. Stadiums, parks, schools, and commercial centers are sealed by frost. Amusement parks remain structurally sound but inactive. No sound sources are detected beyond wind and distant ice movement. Scientific outposts and research facilities in remote regions are inaccessible, encased in ice. Data transmission appears to have stopped. Monitoring systems are offline. Weather systems continue to move globally. Snowstorms cross continents without interference. Cloud cover lowers, reducing visibility. Auroral activity remains visible in high-latitude regions, unaffected by human absence. As daylight progresses, the sun reaches every longitude. No new activity emerges. No recovery signals are observed. Environmental motion continues at a reduced but stable rate. There is no identifiable moment of collapse. No single event marks the end. The planet remains intact, quiet, and uninhabited. This concludes the final recorded day of the world. The second phase begins without announcement. No signal marks the transition. The world does not change suddenly. It continues, slowly, deliberately, as if unaware it has already crossed a line. Daylight spreads across the planet again, but it feels thinner now, filtered through heavier clouds and longer shadows. The sun follows its path precisely, unchanged by what no longer exists beneath it. Snowfall intensifies across multiple regions, accumulating faster than before, reshaping landscapes overnight. Large metropolitan areas show accelerated degradation. Ice fractures glass facades. Steel contracts under sustained cold. Interior spaces are preserved in near-perfect stillness. Offices with papers frozen midair, homes with lights permanently off, digital screens dark and lifeless. No automated systems remain active. Elevators are stalled between floors. Doors remain unlocked, yet unopened. Transportation networks are now fully non-functional. Major bridges are structurally intact, but inaccessible, their surfaces coated in thick ice layers. Tunnels show flooding at entrances, frozen in place. Ports are sealed entirely. Container ships are locked into the ice, some listing slightly as pressure builds around their hulls. Inland waterways no longer reflect movement. Canals, lakes, and reservoirs are solid, layered with snow that hides depth and danger. Dams hold firm, but monitoring systems have failed. Water pressure remains unchecked, held only by engineering and time. Across rural regions, isolation deepens. Entire settlements are no longer visible from above, buried beneath continuous snowfall. Farm equipment rests unused, engines frozen, fuel lines ruptured. Livestock shelters stand empty. Storage facilities remain sealed, contents preserved but unreachable. Forests begin to show subtle changes. Ice accumulation causes branches to shear off under their own weight. Occasional cracks echo through the silence, followed by long pauses. Wildlife movement is rare and cautious, limited to brief traces quickly erased by wind. Mountain systems become increasingly unstable. Snowpack builds beyond normal seasonal limits. Avalanches occur intermittently, reshaping valleys and blocking remaining passes. Roads carved into cliffs disappear entirely, replaced by uninterrupted white slopes. Energy infrastructure continues to deteriorate. Transmission towers collapse under combined ice and wind stress. Substations are inaccessible. Nuclear, thermal, and hydro facilities remain structurally present, but fully inactive. Safety systems appear to be holding through passive design alone. Urban centers grow darker as accumulated snow blocks, remaining natural light from reaching street level. Alleyways fill first, then entire districts. Street signs disappear. Public transit entrances are no longer identifiable. The city becomes a single surface. Atmospheric conditions stabilize into long-duration winter patterns. Jet streams shift slightly, maintaining continuous cold fronts. Snowstorms merge, forming vast systems that travel slowly across continents. Visibility drops to near zero in many regions for extended periods. Coastal erosion continues beneath ice. Tidal forces persist, cracking frozen shorelines from below. Ice shelves form along coastlines where they never existed before, extending into the sea. Seabirds are absent. Marine activity remains unseen. Cultural landmarks show early signs of decay. Historic structures endure, but decorative elements fracture and fall. Museums, libraries, and archives remain sealed, their contents preserved by cold, history locked away without an audience. Communication satellites remain in orbit, but ground networks are inactive. No data is transmitted. No signals are received. The planet operates without observation. As the day progresses, the light fades earlier than expected. Twilight arrives quickly, stretching shadows across frozen terrain. The temperature drops further. Wind patterns intensify slightly, redistributing snow into deeper drifts and sculpted ridges. There is no panic, no disorder, only continuation. The world is not collapsing. It is settling. This is no longer an ending. It is a state. The second day moves forward, quietly establishing the conditions of permanence. The third phase unfolds as duration replaces sequence. Time no longer feels segmented into moments or days. It stretches, slows, and thickens, as if the planet has entered a different state of existence. Light returns again, but it arrives altered. The sun appears dimmer through a denser atmosphere, its path slightly muted by persistent cloud layers and suspended ice particles. Shadows are softer now, less defined, as if the world itself is losing contrast. Across continents, accumulated snow has transformed landscapes beyond recognition. Former cities are no longer distinguishable by streets or blocks. They appear as uneven plateaus, subtle elevations marking where structures once stood. Rooflines are invisible. Entire districts exist only as buried volumes beneath compacted ice. Structural failure becomes more common. Buildings weakened by internal expansion collapse inward without sound, swallowed immediately by drifting snow. Skyscrapers lean, fracture, and disappear gradually, their outlines erased over hours rather than moments. There is no debris field, only reshaped terrain. Inside enclosed spaces, preservation reaches a near-perfect state. Offices remain exactly as they were left, documents suspended in frost, chairs displaced mid-use, personal objects untouched. Residential interiors show no sign of disturbance. Refrigeration is unnecessary now. Everything is held at equilibrium by cold. Transportation corridors no longer exist as pathways. Roads, railways, and runways have merged into the surrounding environment. Navigation is impossible without reference points. Maps are obsolete. Direction has lost meaning. Water systems remain locked. Rivers are indistinguishable from land. Lakes have thickened into layered ice masses, pressure cracks forming geometric patterns across their surfaces. Beneath, water still moves slowly, constrained but persistent. Mountain ranges continue reshaping themselves. Prolonged snow accumulation triggers deep structural shifts. Entire slopes give way in slow-motion avalanches, redistributing mass silently across valleys. Peaks lose definition, softened by continuous deposition. Forests thin. The combined weight of ice and wind strips branches, opens canopies, and reshapes ecosystems. Fallen trees become part of the snowpack, indistinguishable from the ground within hours. Growth has stopped entirely. Energy systems degrade further. Towers collapse fully now, folding into the terrain. Pipelines rupture and freeze instantly. Industrial complexes are sealed beneath snowdrifts, their scale reduced to subtle contours. There is no contamination, no fire, no explosion, only stillness. Atmospheric circulation stabilizes into long, uninterrupted cycles. Cold dominates nearly all latitudes. Weather systems move slowly, predictably, without interruption. Snowfall becomes continuous rather than episodic, a constant state rather than an event. Oceans remain active beneath expanding ice cover. Large sections of open water persist far offshore, generating storms that feed snowfall inland. Coastal regions experience pressure ridging as ice sheets compress and fracture against land masses. The sound is distant and low, carried by wind. Cultural symbols lose prominence. Monuments, landmarks, and icons are buried or broken, no longer elevated above their surroundings. There is no hierarchy in the landscape. Everything is equal under snow. Satellites continue orbiting silently. With no ground interaction, they become passive witnesses, recording nothing. Eventually, orbital decay begins unnoticed, timelines extending far beyond relevance. As daylight fades, darkness settles earlier and lasts longer. Twilight stretches into extended blue hours, then disappears completely. Artificial light does not return. The night is uninterrupted. Temperature drops further. Ice thickens. Movement becomes increasingly rare. Even wind slows, constrained by density and pressure. Snow settles more than it drifts now. There are no signs of recovery, no indicators of reversal, no emergent patterns suggesting adaptation. The planet is not dead. It is dormant. Processes continue at reduced speed. Chemical reactions slow. Mechanical stresses accumulate. The world has entered a long winter, not measured in seasons, but in permanence. This is no longer the last day. It is the last condition. The third phase establishes continuity without presence. A planet operating without observers, sustaining itself in silence. The fourth phase begins without a boundary. There is no clear transition from what came before. The world simply continues, deeper into its own quiet. Time has lost urgency. Days still pass, marked only by shifts in light and shadow, but the distinction between them is no longer meaningful. The sun rises lower, arcs shorter, filtered through dense atmospheric layers that soften everything it touches. Light spreads slowly and fades earlier, as if conserving itself. Snow has compacted into ice across vast regions. What once fell lightly now exists as mass, thick, layered, resistant. Former cities are no longer landscapes of structures, but geological formations. Subtle ridges indicate buried towers. Broad, flat expanses mark districts once dense with life. The ground remembers weight even when shape is gone. Collapse continues, but at a slower, heavier pace. Buildings fail internally, floors giving way under accumulated pressure. The sound is muted, absorbed instantly by snow and distance. Nothing remains exposed for long. The planet seals over its own scars almost immediately. Inside the ice, preservation reaches a stable state. Organic materials remain intact, neither decaying nor changing. Paper, fabric, wood, and metal coexist in frozen equilibrium. The past is held in place without interpretation, without loss, without access. Transportation infrastructure has fully dissolved into the environment. What were once corridors of movement are now indistinguishable from surrounding terrain. Overpasses form gentle hills. Tunnels are sealed chambers beneath meters of ice. No path suggests direction. Navigation has become irrelevant. Water pressure reshapes the world slowly. Beneath frozen rivers and lakes, liquid continues its gradual movement. Pressure cracks widen, shift, and refreeze. In some regions, ice domes form where water pushes upward, creating temporary elevations that collapse and reform over time. Mountain systems enter a phase of deep restructuring. Continuous accumulation alters load distribution. Entire faces shear away in slow, massive releases, redistributing snow and ice across valleys. The process is silent at distance, perceptible only through subtle changes in contour. Forests are no longer recognizable as ecosystems. What remains are vertical remnants, trunks stripped bare, rising from snow like markers. New snowfall smooths everything evenly, reducing once complex environments into minimal forms. Industrial zones disappear completely. Refineries, factories, and storage facilities are entombed. There is no smoke, no fire, no chemical reaction. Cold has neutralized everything. The absence of activity prevents catastrophe. Nothing escalates. Energy generation is non-existent. Mechanical systems have ceased entirely. Reactors remain stable through passive design, cooling indefinitely in the cold. Dams hold their reservoirs, ice reinforcing concrete. Wind turbines have stopped turning, blades locked in place. Atmospheric behavior has stabilized further. Storms are fewer but larger, slower, and more expansive. Snow falls gently but constantly, replenishing what compacts and erodes. Wind moves snow in broad, shallow waves, sculpting the surface gradually. Oceans continue to regulate the planet from beneath expanding ice fields. Currents persist below the frozen surface, transferring heat slowly, maintaining balance. Ice shelves grow thicker, extending farther into open water, reshaping coastlines without resistance. The absence of sound becomes noticeable, not silence in the absolute sense, but a narrow range of low-frequency movement. Wind, distant ice fracture, subtle shifts in mass. Nothing sharp, nothing abrupt. Cultural memory is fully submerged. Landmarks, once elevated for meaning, now exist on the same level as everything else. There is no center, no periphery. The landscape has flattened hierarchies completely. Above the planet, orbital systems continue briefly, indifferent. Satellites drift silently, their sensors no longer recording anything of relevance. Some begin to decay, trajectories slowly lowering, destined to burn away unnoticed. Darkness lasts longer now. Nights extend. The sky clears occasionally, revealing stars with extraordinary clarity. Without light pollution, constellations dominate, steady and unchanged, observing a planet that no longer looks back. Temperatures stabilize at extreme lows. Variation decreases. The environment becomes predictable, consistent, resistant to disruption. Change still occurs, but only through accumulation and pressure, not events. There is no evidence of return, no signal of renewal, no adaptive response. The planet has not failed. It has optimized for stillness. What remains is not aftermath. but continuity without participation. The fourth phase is defined by endurance, not survival, but persistence. The world no longer moves toward anything. It simply remains. The final phase does not announce itself as an ending. It arrives as a conclusion already in progress. Time has flattened completely. There is no longer a sense of forward motion, only continuity. The sun still rises and sets, but these movements are mechanical now, astronomical habits carried out without consequence. Light touches the surface of the planet with reduced intensity, diffused through dense atmospheric layers that no longer shift dramatically. The surface of the world has hardened into permanence. Snow has become ice has become structure. Entire continents are unified by a single texture, compressed white and pale blue, broken only by long shadows and subtle elevation changes. Former cities are indistinguishable from surrounding terrain. What once stood vertically has been pressed downward, integrated into the planet's surface. No further collapses occur. Everything that could fail has already done so. What remains is stable, not by design, but by exhaustion. The ground no longer reshapes quickly. Change happens on geological timescales now, measured in slow compression, gradual drift, and imperceptible settling. Within the ice, the past remains intact. Objects are preserved without decay or transformation. There is no rot, no corrosion, no erosion beyond surface exposure. Human artifacts exist in perfect suspension, neither remembered nor forgotten, simply held. Rooms, tools, records, and personal belongings remain exactly as they were left, frozen in a state without interpretation. Transportation systems are fully irrelevant. The concept of distance no longer applies. Without movement, proximity has no function. Mountains, plains, and former coastlines exist as static forms, equalized by snow and time. The idea of arrival has disappeared. Water continues beneath the ice, slow and deliberate. Oceans remain dynamic below thickening ice sheets, circulating heat and maintaining planetary balance. Currents persist, regulated by physics rather than necessity. Tides still rise and fall beneath frozen surfaces, unseen and unheard. Mountain ranges have softened into broad shapes. Sharp peaks are dulled by accumulation. Valleys fill in. Extremes fade. The planet trends toward uniformity, reducing contrast, minimizing stress. It is not decay, it is convergence. What were once forests are now patterns, vertical traces embedded in snow layers. Ecosystems have paused rather than collapsed. Biological processes continue at microscopic levels, slowed but uninterrupted. Life has not ended, it has retreated into latency. Industrial and technological systems are fully absorbed. There is no residual activity, no emissions, no reactions. Cold has rendered everything inert. The absence of human operation has removed volatility entirely. The world is stable because nothing is being pushed. The atmosphere has reached equilibrium. Weather still exists, but it no longer surprises. Storms are broad and slow, moving predictably. Snowfall is continuous but gentle, replenishing the surface evenly. Wind patterns are consistent, sculpting without disruption. Sound has narrowed further. The planet produces only low-frequency movement, wind passing over ice fields, distant pressure shifts, the subtle fracture of expanding sheets. There are no sharp noises, nothing abrupt. The auditory range has collapsed into a steady, minimal presence. Above the surface, orbital remnants complete their cycles. Satellites decay one by one, re-entering the atmosphere silently, burning away without observation. Eventually, the sky clears of artificial objects. Only celestial motion remains. Nights are long and uninterrupted. Stars dominate the sky with unmatched clarity. Constellations appear sharper, more numerous, unchallenged by artificial light. The universe continues outward, unaffected by what has stopped below. The planet no longer records history. Without observers, events have no narrative weight. Processes occur, but nothing is marked as important. Significance has dissolved. There is no memory being formed. This is not destruction. It is resolution. The world has not been abandoned. It has been released. Released from demand. Released from acceleration. Released from interpretation. What remains is a planet in balance with itself, operating at minimum energy, sustaining form without purpose. Geological time resumes dominance. Chemical cycles continue without interference. Biological potential remains dormant, not extinct. There is no recovery to anticipate, no future to prepare for, no warning to issue. The system has closed. This is not the end of the world as an event. It is the end of the world as a condition of presence. The planet persists, quiet, complete, unobserved, and in that stillness, nothing is missing.